Joining us from Beirut is the writer and political researcher, Alexandre Khachachou. Mr. Alexander, welcome to Qnews. We're glad to have you with us to know your inputs in the matter. Let me first ask you, why has Israel changed its stance regarding a ceasefire in Lebanon, linking it to reaching an agreement in Gaza, despite previous attempts to separate what's happening on the Lebanese border from what's happening in Gaza?
Israel is trying to practice pressure in every way possible to implement what they claim as a win in front of Hezbollah in Lebanon. They try to benefit from this in Gaza. This is not logical. This is not acceptable. They raise the limit. They raise their demands, the limit of their demands and their conditions. So no one would practice pressure on it to stop the war. There is a decision made to continue war in Lebanon as in Gaza. They ask for unlogical conditions to link both fronts to each other. In return, at the beginning, they were practicing pressure to separate both fronts from each other. This is not logical. This is not acceptable. I think these are only justifications to continue war in Lebanon.
So, in light of the upcoming UN Security Council session to take place today, what are your thoughts on it and the possibility of the Council finding any solution to the current crisis in Lebanon and Gaza?
ممكن تعيد السؤال بالعربي؟ ما سمعته.
Yes, of course. So, in light of the upcoming UN Security Council session, what are your thoughts on it and what's the possibility of the Council finding any solution to the current crisis in Lebanon and Gaza?
لا أعتقد أن هناك رابط
I don't believe that they will link both Lebanon and Gaza in the Security Council, and there are international demands to separate Gaza's front from Lebanon's front, and linking both fronts to each other is totally inaccurate. Both matters will be discussed separately. Each front has its complicated situation, each front has its special matters, so linking both together will affect the cease of the war in both fronts.
Now, looking at the wider picture, Mr. Alexander, is it possible to reach a comprehensive ceasefire in Lebanon and Gaza soon, or does the situation still have much to unfold?
Up till now, I don't believe that this is put on the table. It's not suggested up till now. Israel is manipulating and practicing maneuvers. They are raising the limits of their conditions as if they are demanding another chance to continue war in Lebanon and Gaza at the same time. I think there is wasted time in order to reach the presidential elections in the United States of America. Benjamin Netanyahu wants to seize all this time to continue the war in Gaza, and what's being conducted now is the exploitation of the wasted time. The front is still open and the war is still continuous, at least until the presidential elections in the United States. Until now, there are no serious international conversations that discuss the end of the war. All what we hear is just talking. Up till now, everything that is being said regarding the negotiations and the experience, all of them were refused by Benjamin Netanyahu during this year. Benjamin Netanyahu wants to reach a certain limit, and I think he's fully prepared for this.
That was the writer and political researcher Alexandre Khachachou. Thank you so much for your fruitful insights.